Well, here we are on a tour, a totally unexpected tour of downtown Cleveland, presented to you through the offices of the Dr. Mr. Sister Travel Agency. Right now we're looking at one of the main features of downtown, the many lift bridges, the bridges that go nowhere. The bridges from here to, well, I'm not sure where. We're standing at the banks of the oft mispronounced river Cuyahoga, which of course is an Indian name meaning winding river. And we are currently in a portion of town called the Flats. There is our largest tower, the Key Tower. The old BP building, we don't know who owns it anymore. To the right of that is Terminal Tower, the most famous edifice in these parts, and the semi-round Federal Court building. And the beautiful white bridge is, I believe, the Superior Bridge, the main avenue. I've never really known what it is, and I've lived here for so long. As we pan along here, you'll notice that we're going to be coming up on this old shack. And this old shack, this is where it all started, where Moses Cleveland first set up camp on the shores of the Cuyahoga and founded what was later to become the capital of the Rust Belt. Down in the back, a little bit further up, Flatiron Cafe, where I've just had lunch with my ex-co-workers. All the retirees come together once a year around Christmas time and have a festive lunch. We'll scan further down. And we'll come up on what is known as Collision Bend. Unfortunately, there are no boats down here at the moment, although one passed about a half hour ago. And you could see then why it's called Collision Bend, because they have to navigate these strange twists and turns. Here we are at the heart of the Cleveland's vast Flats entertainment complex. Every establishment here has closed down long ago and sits in total abandonment. This is formerly Shooter's, which I believe lasted about 6 weeks when it was open. Here we're looking at the mouth of the Cuyahoga as it opens northward to the lake. Another lift bridge that goes to the salt mines. And there is the east bank of the Cuyahoga, the other half of our amazing entertainment complex, where there's tons of nightlife, many festivities, thousands of establishments to patronize, only perhaps if you're a ghost or perhaps a zombie, although I don't believe they serve the dead here. Although we don't know, because we don't communicate with the dead regularly. More likely than not, they'd find this a very good place to come. There, in fact, is the actual Main Avenue Bridge, the Blue Bridge. We'll pan left, or rather right, and we'll pick up the Key Tower again, and the ever-present Terminal Tower, just to give you some perspective. Notice that we've got an extremely cooperative little seagull, and right now that hissing sound is that they're putting another coat of blue paint on that bridge. There we have perhaps the only still evergreen portion of the entertainment down here, that would be the Powerhouse. There still seems to be a Rock Bottom brewery open there, and perhaps another restaurant. And right in front of me, we have the most useless thing in the world, an outdoor volleyball court for the Clevelanders to romp in their 6 weeks of summer. Here we have the remains of what was once an actual boardwalk with kiosks and hot dog stands. And there you can see our idle tour boat, the Nautica. I believe it's still possible occasionally to take a tour of the lake and of the river and even have dinner and dancing. Just to prove that this is the Rust Belt, I have here an example of actual Rust Belt rust on our deserted boardwalk down by the flats. No doubt this will be cleared off in the next decade or so to build huge condominiums that will also be abandoned. I'm sure you believe that you've heard this sound and you've seen the looks of things like this somewhere before. Yes, if you're getting the idea that Cleveland looks like the background set for the movie Eraserhead in all its industrial glory, you're correct. Our last remaining entertainment complex, the Nautica, where sometimes they have the occasional concert. Moving along St. Clair. This is our Lakeside Courthouse. Driving by City Hall on the left. And the Public Auditorium, which if you go to high school around here is probably where you'll be graduating from. Over on the left, the Obscenity, which is our free stamp. Happen to be going past the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum on the left. And coming up down here, the famous East 9th Street Pier. Here we are at the back end of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. As we go right, you may be able to see the football stadium in the distance. And there we have Cleveland's only source of power, a lone windmill, aside our IMAX theater, which is presently showing the Polar Express. Another view of the skyline. Back up East 9th, we're going in the same direction as the lovely whipping wind off the lake, which hits you in the winter. Today it's in the mid-50s, obviously due to global warming and having such huge carbon footprints that we can no longer sustain life on this planet. But today, this warmth augurs well for Cleveland. Here we are on the East 55th Street Pier, a park on the east side of town, just a few miles east of downtown. Right now I'm showing a picture of Cleveland's present and the past. The one major television studio across the street from a completely ventilated Holiday Inn that used to be there. As we slowly pan across, We can see the marina, completely devoid of boats, or should I say craft. And then the downtown skyline with the gray backdrop of clouds, which is a continuous feature of the Cleveland area. Very seldom does it get brighter than this. In fact, there's a little bit of blue in the sky. And if we pan around just a little bit more, there we are, the open seas of the North Coast,